Today we shall talk about India as a land of opportunity. I will take you to the past and bring you to the present because there is a linkage between the past and the present. Do you know that the first university of the world was in Takshila? Takshila now has gone to Pakistan. In those days called Takshashila. The first international university of the world was at Nalanda. And the ruins say that there were more than 10,000 students at any given time, and the major chunk used to come from China. Is it a wonder that in today's India also more than 40,000 foreign students have come to learn, and 70,000 of them are in Pune itself. India is a mother country for mathematics, and mathematics was given to the world when Aryabhatta gave mathematics when he wrote a book by name Lilavati. Indians gave the world zero. See the linkage. Mathematics was given by the Indians. Indians gave the world zero. Indians had Vedic mathematics. Indians had logic. Indians are the second largest English speaking people in the world. From the 0 and 1 came the binary system, and isn't it very logical that India has become a superpower of IT software? That is the linkage in the past and in the present. Algebra, many of us erroneously think that it is Arabic science. It is Indian science. The greatness of the Arabs was they took it from India and took it to the world. In fact, it is called in the Arabic world as Al-Hind. Al-Hind, something that has come from India. Indians knew the Pythagoras theorem 200 years before Pythagoras himself, and it is very vividly described in a book. Name of the book is Katyayana's Sulva Sutras. Indians always knew that earth was round and earth goes around the sun. Now see one more linkage. Indians had made a pillar which is near Qutub Minar, the iron pillar which doesn't rust. Even today's science is not able to solve this riddle. How can you make iron which doesn't rust? And the iron pillar which is there for last 1,000 years, even today is not rusted, it is glazy. And daily it does have humidity, rains. How do you make iron which doesn't rust? This was what was Indian science. Now see the linkage. Indians were always great in making of iron and steel. Today, India has emerged as one of the top 3 nations in the world in making iron. It is already just behind China in iron making capacity, iron and steel making capacity, and the Indians are conquering the world. The world only talks about one, Ellen Mittal, which has got ArcelorMittal, Tata's, which has got Tata Chorus. The lesser known people are Global Steel, which is cousin of again Ellen Mittal. Then we have SRs and we have Jindals. Jindals incidentally have taken the world's biggest iron ore mine in Bolivia. So see the linkage. Indians were great in making steel. The same tradition continues. Take one more example. Textiles. When the armies of Alexander the Great invaded India, they were stunned to see that the Indians were having not only woolen clothes, they had cotton, they had wool, they had cotton, they had silk, they had hemp. Whereas the Romans and the Greeks and the Macedonians only had 2 colors, white and red, Indians had the art of dyeing. So when you see any multicolor clothes in the European countries in those days, essentially they had come from India. Do you know that the quality standards of India in textiles in those days were so high? A Dhaka muslin, a 9-meter sari could pass through a ring. So it is no wonder that The same great tradition continues. India exports $15 billion worth of textiles. Do you know that India always was a focus of the entire world? Every single European nation had an East India Company. We only talk about English East India Company. There was a French East India Company, Dutch had one, Danish had one, Portuguese had one. Remember, Christopher Columbus never went out to seek out where is USA. He wanted to find out India. Accidentally, he found USA. Because everyone in the world wanted to reach India, trade with it and make money. Salaries in India were unbelievable. Thousands of French, thousands of English used to serve in the Maratha armies and in the Sikh armies. And the army of Nizam, even up to 1948, had 55,000 Arabs working in it, and every single Wada in Pune had an Arab watchman till 1948. Do you know India always was one of the richest countries in the world? It is having the highest number of mineral reserves. Just take three states, Orissa, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. Put together they have undoubtedly more mineral reserves than whole of Europe put together. Europe's economy now is 14 trillion US dollars. You can see how much value addition we can go. Do you know that during the time of the British, there was a note which was printed which had a denomination of 2 rupees and 8 annas. Why was a note printed with such a denomination? Why have a fraction in it? Between the year 1912 and 1918, this note could directly exchange to a dollar. It is so precious. If you lay your hands on that note today, a collector would easily pay you 100,000 rupees for it. India and China once had 51% of the international trade. And there was a time, in 1 year, India touched 29% of the international trade. Today, we are at a measly 1%. In USA, when I had visited a museum in Chicago, we were stunned to see entire second floor of that museum, every single precious stone, starting with Hope, which is a blue diamond of 54 carats, origin India. Then the crowns, the bracelets, the necklaces of the French kings and the queens, everywhere origin India. The last plaque says everything. Before the 18th century, the only nation in the world which mined diamonds was India. So any great diamond with a big history, for example, we had Kohinoor, Nizam, Hope, all of them had Indian origin. So the writing is on the wall. If India was at 29% and today we are at 1%, it is out of question that we will not grow. Even if we achieve 5 to 6%, we are going to our rightful place. A country which produces 575,000 engineers, 350,000 MBAs, 150,000 students from India do post-graduation, go abroad and take education. When they come back, this country is going to go to great places. Remember one thing, Swami Vivekananda used to say, give me 1,000 Indians with an ignited mind and I will change this nation. Today, this posse of 500,000 Indians cannot change this nation. I think what is missing is the will, the ignited mind. But once we know that this is what is going to happen, be at the cutting edge, be the part of this great thing which is going to happen. Remember, India is nothing but sum total of all of us. But you should not be left behind. You should be a part of this success story. The greatest nation in the world where there are maximum opportunity is in India. Thank you.